Today in our 2015 Ford Escape, you're going to be taking a look at, I'm going to show you how to install the etrailer.com Class 3 trailer hitch receiver, part number E98866. This is what our hitch looks like when it's installed. You can see the cross tube is completely hidden behind the bumper fascia. The only thing we're really going to see is our receiver tube. However, it does sit nice and tucked in back behind the most outer edge of the bumper fascia, so we're not going to have to worry about hitting our legs or our shins on it when we're loading and unloading the back of the vehicle. This is going to be a Class 3 hitch. It's going to be a 2" by 2". Hitch pin hole is going to be 5/8 inch in diameter. It's going to have rolled steel style safety chain loops. It's going to be welded on the bottom of the receiver tube. Gives you plenty of room for different size safety chain hooks. Now, as far as weight capacities go, you're going to have a 350-pound max tongue weight, which is a downward pressure on the inside of the receiver tube. You're going to have a 3,500-pound max trailer weight, which is a trailer plus a load included. I do recommend checking the owner's manual to make sure the vehicle can withstand that amount of weight. You want to pick the lowest number between the vehicle and the hitch. Now, you can use weight distribution with this hitch. Tongue weight's going to go up to 500 pounds, and trailer weight's going to go up to 5,000 pounds. Now, let's give you a few measurements to help you when deciding on any hitch mount accessories you may need, such as a bike rack, ball mount, or cargo carrier. From the center of the hitch pin hole to the outermost part of the bumper is about 4 inches. From the ground to the top innermost part of the receiver tube is about 13.5 inches. Now, let's show you how to get this installed. First thing we need to do to start our installation is we need to lower our exhaust. We're going to have an exhaust bracket on both sides of the muffler. They're going to be held up by 2 bolts. We're going to use a 13mm socket to remove them. Next, on our driver's side, we need to remove this nut so we can cut our heat shield so our hitch sits flush against our frame rail. We'll use a 10mm socket to pull that nut off. So what we're going to be cutting off, we're going to go about 1 inch forward from this hole. And this whole section here. We're going to pull heat shield down like this. And I'm just going to use some 10 snips to cut that off. Then on our passenger side, we're just going to cut off this whole section. After trimming, we'll reattach our heat shield on our driver's side. Next, we need to be able to get our carriage bolt up through this hole. You can see that the head is a little bit too big, so we're going to have to enlarge that hole. What I'm going to use is a grinding bit. I'm just going to grind one edge of it. Just like that. We're going to repeat that same thing on the other side of the vehicle. Next thing we're going to do, the bare metal here, we want to make sure we cover that up so it resists any rust or corrosion later on down the road. We're going to take some paint. You can use clear coat if you want. Next, we're going to have 3 mounting locations. We're going to be using this hole, and the one on the outside of the frame rail right here. You're going to take one of your carriage bolts, spacer block. You're going to have a pull wire like this. You want to take the spring in. We're going to start with this hole on the outside of our frame rail. We're going to go through there and bring our spring in out right here. Sometimes if you stick your finger up in there, you can get the end of that wire. Put just a little bit of pressure on it, and you can guide it right out of the hole. You're going to take your spacer block, your carriage bolt. You're going to thread your carriage bolt onto the end of the wire. Go ahead and push your spacer block up inside the hole. What you're going to do is you're going to take your bolt and you're going to flip it over and put the head in first. And you're going to pull it out like that. And when you get it out here, slide it back in just like that, so we're able to get our hitch up there. Next, we're going to do this hole. Spring in, and go through this hole, and come out of this one. Same combination on the hardware. For this one, we're going to do a reverse feed. So we're going to put our hardware on first. This time we're going to feed the head of our bolt up in there. And then our spacer block. just like that. And you're going to repeat that same thing on the other side. Now the next set of hands will get a hitch into place. We're going to put in our passenger side first. We want to go over top of our exhaust behind our fascia. We'll put our pull wires into the corresponding holes. We've got our hitch up and our two outside ones on the outside of our frame rail. If we pull them out, we can let the hitch rest on it. Next we'll pull our wires off and we'll add a flange nut. Sometimes, because this bolt's loose, if you put just a little bit of pressure on it to get the nut started, it helps out quite a bit. Go ahead and put a flange nut on all our remaining hardware. Next, we're going to tighten all of our hardware. We're going to use an 18mm socket. Before we put our exhaust back in place, we're going to go ahead and torque our hardware to the specifications in the instructions. Now we can put our exhaust back up. We're going to have hardware that comes in our kit to replace the hardware we took out. We're going to have a hex bolt and a flat washer. And we'll use a 13mm socket to tighten them down. You're going to repeat that on the other side. That'll do it for a look at and installation on the etrailer.com Class 3 trailer hitch receiver, part number E98866 on our 2015 Ford Escape.